Good morning to this plenary section of the conference Inland and Marine Waters Challenge, EuroMed Cooperation. And I will immediately give the floor to Cristina Russo. Thank you, Cristina.
Thank you very much, Professor Brugnoli. I'm very pleased to be here again with you today. I was told by my colleagues that the technical discussions that took place yesterday were very fruitful, and we will hear more this morning with the keynote speeches which will follow in some minutes. I will be brief because I think that yesterday myself, Professor Brugnoli and the diplomatic advisor to the minister have stressed enough the importance that we place on strengthening cooperation between the EU and the southern Mediterranean region, and the importance that the questions related to inland and marine waters have within this context. I think that the discussions that you had yesterday and that you will wrap up today will be a very useful input to our endeavor to strengthen this cooperation. And from my side, what is very important is to note that many people, many scientists from different countries, both from the EU, from the southern Mediterranean countries, from international organizations, have actively contributed to this discussion under the strong leadership of Professor Brugnoli, and of course with the help of my colleagues. And I would like to thank in particular Mrs. Angela Liberatore for the efforts that she did in order to organize this conference, and also colleagues from the GRC, Mrs. Maria Betti, and from our directorate in charge of environment. And so what I would like to say is that it's very important that this discussion took place amongst scientists, experts from different countries, from different organizations, and we will look forward to the report of this conference, which, as it was said yesterday, will feed up in our work that is aimed according to the strategy of international cooperation and in line with Horizon 2020 to strengthen cooperation between the EU and the southern Mediterranean countries. I will not be able to attend all this morning session. I will have the pleasure to listen to part of the keynote speakers' speeches, but I will leave you then in the good hands of Professor Brugnoli and Mrs. Angela Liberatore. And with these words, I would like to wish you a very fruitful discussion also this morning, and thank you again for the participation to this conference. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Cristina, and I will also be very brief because yesterday we gave, the objectives and our expectation about this conference. I just want to say that Professor Nicolais, the President of the National Research Council of Italy, send his regards to everybody. He could not attend because of a sudden commitment far away from Naples and Rome. And he would, of course, be very interested in the outcome of the conference. Myself, I'm very glad of how the conference developed yesterday with the four workshops. I do remember to everybody that the four workshops were related to different topics on water resource and land management, impacts on inland and seawater in the Mediterranean region. The Mediterranean Integrated Ocean Observing System to support sustainable tourism, coastal and marine tourism, building ecosystem-based approach to fishery and aquaculture to the Mediterranean, and finally, ecosystem-based management in the Mediterranean region. We expect today, after the keynote speech, to have an introduction of the rapporteur that we will consolidate and give to the audience, the impression of what is the main topics and the main outcome of each of the workshop, and then we will together develop an agenda to in the following days to have a report written and to try to have an outcome to send to the policymakers and so on. We expect that the report will circulate at least in the form of draft very soon, so I wish you a fruitful day, and I immediately go